Hello, what's up YouTube? Ronix with it, another tutorial, and in this tutorial I'll show you guys how I color graded this very image, and it is going to be like a short one. But on top of color grading, I want to show you guys how I retouched this image first so that I had all retained those nice details in this image, and we're going to be using my frequency separation actions for skin retouching. Then after we are done doing skin retouching, we're going to be doing the eye whitening and color grading of this very image to get those nice, rich, beautiful, and professional skin tones in this very image. And as you can see, I already cleaned up the image or removed the blemishes. And for those that would love to learn about how I remove blemishes from my images in Photoshop, I'm going to show you guys a full or complete tutorial on the link right above here so that you can check out how I removed the blemishes and the tools I use for blemish removal. And also I'm going to come and I'm going to start retouching this image. So I'm going to come under my actions and I'm going to play my frequency separation action. And as you can see, I have a 16-bit image right here because I have 16. And if at all you'd love to learn about how to create your actions, I'm also going to link for you the video right above here so that you can learn how to create your 8-bit action and 16-bit action. So for this case, I'm simply going to come and play my 16-bit action, and there we are right now. So as usual, and before I can play this, I'm going to first of all go back a little. So first of all, I want to merge these two layers by hitting Shift Command E. Then I'm going to play my 16-bit action just right now. So right now when it's playing on this point, you have to make sure you zoom into the image and move this radius up to a point when you're starting to lose out on the details in the image. So I'm going to start moving this up to a point when the details or the skin details start disappearing. So for this case, I think at around 7 I'm losing out on the details in the image. So I'm going to hit OK, and the action is going to continue playing. And when it is done, it will already create for me a black and white layer inside my frequency separation action. I'm just going to brighten it up a little bit, so by simply double clicking right here and brightening the red channel by moving it towards the right hand side. So I'm going to close that, then select my low frequency layer and get my mixer brush tool. So the settings I use for this very image, I'm going to come and make sure it is a clean brush. Then I'm going to select the second option because I want Photoshop to automatically clean the brush for me when I'm trying to even out or blend the skin tones in the image. I'm going to come the wetness, and for this case I'm going to be using a wetness of 9%, load 75, mix 90, flow 100, and make sure sample all as is not checked or selected. And when I'm done doing so, I'm going to zoom in slightly to the image, and since I'm on the low frequency, I'm going to start evening out the skin tones in the image just like that. And as I'm evening out the skin tones, you're going to notice that I'm blending the midtones alone, the highlights and the shadows alone in this very image just like that. So I have a highlight and I'm just going to even it out rather, or blend it. Remember, skin retouching is more of harmonizing the transitions between the light patterns in the image. So that's why I'm just trying to blend or even out the tones in this very image. And to reduce on the size of mixer brush tool, you can use the open and the close brackets on the keyboard. So let's turn off the black and white and we see what we have done so far. So the before after. So we're going to do the same for the overall skin area, and I don't want this to be like a detailed skin retouching tutorial. That's why I'm rushing through every step, because I don't want this to be like my usual long retouching videos on this channel. So that's why I'm just trying to do my best to not take so much of your time. So I'm going to come the nose area and even out the tones just like that. So since I have shadows on either sides of the nose, I'm just going to blend them just like that. Then I have a highlight, and I'm just going to blend that highlight. So I'm basically trying to even out on the skin tone. So let me turn this off and see what I've done before, after, before, after. So I'm going, you can as well work without the black and white layer, but in order to see where to blend or even out the skin tones, you need it because it is more of a help layer. So I'm going to come to the chin area, and I'm just going to even out those tones just like that. Then come this side and also blend or even out the skin tones just like that. Then I'm going to come right this side, and I'm just going to even out the skin tones. So if at all you want to blend a smaller area, you can now zoom in, but I would advise you guys that when you're trying to even out or blend these skin tones, you shouldn't zoom all the way in, because we want to even out the skin tones the way someone is going to be looking at our image after we have maybe posted or uploaded it on social media. So make sure you don't blend when you're zoomed in completely. So I think that is really fine and okay. I'm going to zoom out to see my progress. So let's see the before, after, before, after. So for the area you may have missed out, you can simply get the mixer brush tool and even it out even more. So let's even out the skin tones in the neck area, and you're going to be going straight into the color grading process of this very image. And we're going to be using two powerful tools combined together. That is the use of the camera raw filter for color grading, and also we're going to be applying the use of selective color as a tool of color grading. So make sure you stay tuned, because I made this tutorial since I was getting so many questions about how I retouched and color graded this very image to retain those nice details. So just stay around, and I think we're done. We're almost done retouching. So let's turn this off and we see what we have so far. So this is the before, after, before, after. So what I want to do, I want to refine the areas I have tried to blend using the mixer brush tool. So, and for those areas, if at all I want to see them even or refine them even more, I'm going to come and I'm going to get my lasso tool. So come and get my lasso tool. This is the lasso tool, feathering 22 pixels, and I'm going to simply make a selection on the skin area just like that. I hope you're seeing the way I'm selecting. I'm keeping off the edges or the hair and eyebrows, and after that come to filter and come to blur, come to Gaussian blur. So at this point you have to move this until you feel like you're getting the best skin texture out of your image. So for this case I'm going to move this just like that until I feel like the texture is really nice. I think at 21 I have a very nice skin texture and it looks as natural as possible. So I'm going to apply the effect onto the rest of the image. So make a selection, right click and click on Gaussian blur to basically refine the areas we may have missed out when we are using the mixer brush tool. So this is more of a refining technique onto those areas we may have missed out when we are using the mixer brush tool to even out the skin tones in this image. So just going to come and make that shape. You have to keep away of the edges rather of the image or the model's face, so that it doesn't copy and paste color to other areas. So for this refining step, you only have to do it on the face, because when you apply it on the rest of the image, it's going to make it look plastic. And I forgot to mention that if at all you would love to reduce on the effect or opacity of the given area, simply click Shift Command F or Shift Control F, and you can reduce on the opacity of the effect of the Gaussian blur on a particular area rather. So let me just get rid of that. So I'm just going to come and right click and come to Gaussian blur just like that. So I think we are done refining the model's face. So let's see the skin retouching. So this is the image before after. You can see that we still have the original skin details. So what we'd love to do, we're going to delete the black and white layer after selecting it, and we want to do some little bit of dodging and burning before we can color grade. So come to the curves adjustment layer, and the method I'm going to be using is the color range option because I don't want to take so much time going into the details of dodging and burning. I'm going to come to select and I'm going to come to color range. So I just want to enhance first of all the highlights in the image. So I'm going to select the highlights just like that, and I'm going to reduce on the fuzziness. Make sure your quick mask and selection are active. Hit OK, and remember we just want to brighten the highlights just like that. I think that is way too much. So let's see a before and after, before, after, before, after. I think that is fine. And now what I want to do, I'm going to leave the shadows because the image already has the dimensional shape. So what I want to do, I'm going to simply come to Shift Alternate Command E on the keyboard, and I'm going to duplicate that by hitting Ctrl Command J. Then we're going to go straight into the camera raw filter for color grading of this very image and eye and teeth whitening. So first of all, I'm going to come under the basic adjustments, or just come to the calibration option. I'm going to simply knock down my saturation of the red primary to 10, and also knock down the saturation of my green primary to around 10, and come to my blue primary just like that. And I think I'm going to knock it around at around 13 rather. I think that looks okay because I want to get rid of the yellows in the image. Then after doing so, I'm going to come to my HSL panel and I'm going to move the oranges towards the green side, I think to around 4. Then I'm going to come to the luminance and I'm just going to knock down the luminance of this very image to around 10. So I think you're seeing how the image is turning out to look. Then after I have done so, I'm going to come to my contrast and I'm going to enhance the contrast of this very image to around 10. So you can see the before after. When I'm done doing so, I'm going to zoom into the eyes to do the eye and teeth whitening. So come and get the adjustment brush tool and make sure the temperature is, since we're getting rid of the white, the yellowness in the eyes, I have to go the opposite of yellow, which is blue. Then I have to add a tint of around 67. Highlights and whites, because I want the eyes to pop to around 3 or 4. Then since I'm getting rid of the yellow color in the white area, or the color in the white area of the eye, I'm going to knock down the saturation up to around -70. And when I'm done doing so, I'm going to start painting over the white area, and I could also enhance that catch light right in the eyes of the model just like that. Hold down the space bar and click to move just like that. I hope you're seeing the results right now. So we're going to do the same for the teeth of the model. So hold down the space bar and move all the way down and start painting over the teeth just like that. I hope you are seeing the results that are all that we are achieving right now while doing the eye and teeth whitening, and we are not yet done with the color grading of this image. Remember, we have to also use selective color to color grade this very image. So let me zoom out, but you can see how the image is really nice and popping. So the before after. So after doing so, I'm going to simply hit OK to open the image for further color grading in Photoshop. So in Photoshop, come to selective color, and you're going to come to the blacks first of all, and intensify on the blacks to darken or the shadows in the image. Then come the yellows and move it towards the left hand side, just like that. I'm going to go with around 10. Then come to the red channel, and we are going to reduce on the amount of yellows in this very image to around -5. But still the image looks really warm, so I'm going to come to the photo filter option, and I'm going to come to the cooling filter 82 and simply cool down the image to around, we're going to go with around 4. I want to darken the image a little bit more, so I'm going to come to the curves, or rather levels, and just add some contrast to the image. Then I'm going to double click the selective color, and I'm going to come to the blacks, and I think I could move this even more, just like that, and also enhance the blacks or the darks in the image. But the image still looks yellow, so I'm going to double click on the photo filter, and I'm going to just enhance that, just like that, to reduce on the amount of warm tones in this very image. So basically this is how I retouch and color graded this image. So let me show you guys where we started and where we are right now. So this is the image before after. You can see what I did to color grade this very image. And if at all you love this tutorial, don't forget to like this video and don't forget to subscribe if at all you are watching from this channel for the very first time. Ronix from Ronix Photography, and I'll see you in yet another one. Don't forget to keep practicing and keep creating.